Is there a good home brewer for your house for under $100? Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the episode of the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A here in the OnoCoffee channel. I'm your host, and today we've got this topic that actually came from my friend Cirilo, who messaged me the other day, and he was like, "Hey, man, actually, let me look it up here and get this correctly." And he was like, "Quick question for you. I'm looking for a new coffee maker. I'm torn between the Zojirushi Zudo and the BonaVita 8-cup One Touch. What are your thoughts? Or do you have a better recommendation? I really want to stay around $100. Well, my friend, I just want to tell you, you're hosed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're going to get into that and see the different options that are available and talk about home coffee brewers that might be worthwhile for you to invest in at a range of price points, actually. So, Keone, how are you? Kent, how are you today? Good to see all of you. We a little bit of housekeeping. I wasn't able to do yesterday's live stream because my father actually had a fall on Sunday, and we had to take him to the hospital on Sunday and then bring him back on Monday because we were there overnight. Like, we were pretty much there until 4:30 in the morning, and then needed to go back for surgery yesterday. So we went back, and he's still there today, but he's done very well. Luckily, he just had a little teeny tiny fracture in his hip with the top of his femur or something like that. And so, good thing he's got friends. So he called up his friend who's one of the bone specialists, and so he was able to connect with him right away. And they took care of it last night. Everything went very, very well. The surgery was actually super fast. Evidently, they cut into him and they screw in some titanium screws. And then they suture him up. And then, it took maybe a total of an hour with all the prep. And the doctor was like, it's only going to take about 20 minutes. The actual procedure part of it. Oh, all right. So he's good. So I got to go get him. Got to go fetch him later today after he does whatever they need to do, at the hospitals. Got to make sure that you're all right to leave. So thank you, Keone. Thank you. And I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he's very resilient, that man. Okay, so so in the world of home brewers, there's a whole wide range, right? There's a whole wide range of brewers out there in many different price points that you can choose from. So there's a lot to choose from. But let's look at the first two that he was talking about. He was talking about this Zojirushi, and I wasn't familiar with the Zojirushi, and I was like, I had to look it up. And so I looked it up, and let's go have a look at it here on the computer. So here it is, Zojirushi, and evidently there's the Zudo 5-cup coffee maker from Target you get for $80. So that's great because that fits his budget. Now, if we look at this one, let's go have a look at this particular one. George says, "Glad to hear your dad is getting proper care. Thank you very much. I'm relieved to hear it wasn't really. Oh no, it was definitely not. I know I wasn't very clear on that message that I left on the community post, but it was a little bit distracted on that. Okay, so for $80, we get this 5-cup Zojirushi Zudo in silver, removable reservoir, charcoal filter. So it looks like they've got a charcoal filter somewhere in the water line to help clarify your water a little bit more, just in case you have a little bit of issues. Now, here's some things. So 40-ounce capacity, right? So so you have about, depending on the size of cup that you're using, if you're pouring 12-ounce cups, that's really a 3-cup capacity. Most of these brewers, they tend to use, when they're rating their cups, they tend to use 4 ounces. So this could theoretically be a 10-cup brewer, but no one's getting 10 cups. Not in America. This is America. Nobody's getting 10 cups out of that brewer. It's also 650 watts. So this is something for you to consider. The wattage that you're going to be pulling on any brewer is going to be a big determinant in efficiency of the brewer, right? So 650 watts it's probably decent. It's probably just as good as most any brewer on the market. Is it going to be great? I mean, I'm not sure. Here's something that's going to be something for you to consider as you're thinking about different brewers. And this video actually changed the way that I looked at home brewers. And even helped me think better about home brewers. There's a channel out here by the name of Technology Connections. And this guy, he's super geeky, super into all kinds of technology. And one day he did this video about the technology behind home coffee brewing systems. And I was like, totally fascinated by it. I was like, my gosh. So evidently, like with the Mr. Coffee, for example, Mr. Coffee years ago used to have a different heating system. In some ways, it was better. In modern times, they switched to like a heating block, a thermal block kind of thing, where it rapidly heats just a small amount of water, and that's why you get this percolation, right? It's basically super boiling this water, right? It from a reservoir down into this little tube, into a little chamber where it gets superheated, and that superheated water is now boiling, is what pushes it up the stem and out and over the coffee bed. And you're like, whoa, I was totally like, whoa, I can't believe that. That's how that works. And I mean, I have other thoughts about it as far as like, what to use and all that, but it's something for you. It's something that if you're interested in the technology behind these coffee brewers, something to think about, something to check out. Uh-oh, I'm going to turn this off. So let me turn that off there. And yeah, check that. It's down in the links below. I put some links down below in the description that says other videos for you to watch, something like that. And then at the very bottom of those, like 5 of them, is the video from Technology Connections. I think it's worth watching. And then there's other videos there in case you want to see a little bit more about other home brewers we've looked at and different thoughts we've had. Now, back to this. Oh, Russell's with us. What's going on, Russell? Anton's here too. Might as well go get a Melita. You mean the Melita, the big brewer Melita, or just the Melita, like little tiny plastic pour over for like $4? I'm actually a big fan of that little tiny brewer. Very, very big fan. Powerplant says, I got one of those used at Hard Off for like $8. I don't know what Hard Off is, nor do I want to really know what Hard Off means. One of the smaller Zojirushi. So what do you think about the Zojirushi machines, Powerplant? I mean, my personal thought is that, Zojirushi, I've used Zojirushi a lot in different applications, never for coffee, actually. I've gotten to see some of their products at the trade shows, and I think, was it this year or last year we were looking at the siphon brewer? I think that was last year. But if you look at last year's tour videos, there's one was from Zojirushi. I forgot to link to that one. But that one, I think we just touch on this. I think they had the Zudo there. My initial thought with Zojirushi is it should be fine. I mean, they're really a solid company that has traditionally made very solid products. Like if you were to say, hey man, should I buy a Zojirushi rice cooker? Oh, hell yeah. Like there's just I wouldn't even think about it. Oh yeah, that's well worth the money. Well worth the money. If you ask me about like water kettles, like they have these ones that heat the water and hold it. You're like, hey, should I get the Zojirushi water? Hell yeah, that's good. Should I get the Zojirushi thermos? Oh yeah. Should I get the Zojirushi cup? Oh yeah. So, but I've never used the Zudo and I don't know anything about it. So I'm like, yes, it should be great. Like the company's reputation alone would be enough to like be very favorable in my mind, right? Like it's a very good brand that has traditionally done very good stuff, but I've never used it. So I'm interested to know what you think. Anton says, just a Melita. I got you. Powerplant says, I can post some links to the nicer Japanese machines you can get at any electronics. Well, I mean, my friend Cirilo is down in Atlanta, so it really needs to be something he can go buy in the United States and not necessarily have to. I mean, going to Japan to buy tools and products, not everybody wants to do that. I love to do that. Not everybody wants to, right? Like I've even sent emissaries out to buy stuff for me. Like I sent my brother. He was in Japan in July while I was in the hospital. He's in Japan. I said, hey man, I need you to go to this tool shop in Tokyo and pick me up a kana and a nami, basically a hand plane and a chisel. I sent him to a place called Inoue Hamono. And I was like, oh, okay, dude. So, but not everyone's willing to do that, right? Not everyone wants to go to that extreme. And I get that. Powerplant says, I kept for a few months, then binned it. I just prefer. I mean, I get it. I mean, but not everybody wants that, right? Some people want to have that convenience. And that's really what these type of machines are good for. A lot of convenience. But one thing that I want to point out, that if you're thinking about buying a brewer, like this one is really, I think will be perfectly fine. $79.99, $80. It has this glass thermal carafe, which should be fun. But if you're the kind of person that likes to sit down and likes to make a full pot of coffee and then go pour a little bit out, go do your thing and work around your house or work around your office, and you're drinking and then you're keeping the coffee there. Like you want to brew the whole thing and drink it over time, and you want it to be hot. I would say that to consider getting an alternate version of this machine. And what's the alternate of that? Let's go look at their website here. Zojirushi for coffee fans. Oh, wow. They even have a little page marked up like that. Okay, let's see if we can get to work. Anton says, I don't hold batch brewers for non-commercial use in hybrid. I hear you. Power Plant says, it was nice, though. I measured the brewing temp, and it was good. Zotto. Okay, good. Just to see them, they have intriguing stuff. Ah, gotcha. Cutie says, the filter holder is half of the carafe. I think you're right. Okay, so, oops. You know what? I really hate how websites do this. You go there and you're trying to click on something, and then this stupid thing pops up. And this is true of all websites. Like that's just so, to me, infuriating. Okay, so read the MSRP from them is $90. Okay, so let's see here. Do they have? Okay, so I guess the Zotto it says 500 cups, 680 milliliters. And it has, I like the red. I used the red one. I used the red picture for the thumbnail. I think just because it's different, and I like that. But it looks like on this particular model, there is no option for a thermal carafe. And that's one thing. And this is just an example, but it's way more than the budget that we're asking for, which is $100. The thing about these thermal carafes, right? One of the nice options about thermal carafes is that you can keep your coffee in the carafe and it will hold temperature fairly well. In Zojirushi's case, it should hold it extremely well for quite a long period. One of the downsides of these other types of, when you have glass carafe, there was always like a heating plate on the bottom. And the Technology Connections video even talks about how this all works. But the heating plate that's on the bottom is always on. And so it's always heating your coffee. And the heating of the coffee breaks down the quality of your coffee over time. Maybe if you're using Folgers, not a big deal, right? If you're a Folgers type of drinker and you're just using Folgers, whatever, and you're putting cream and sugar, maybe that's not going to be such a critical issue for you. The more nuanced your coffee becomes that you buy, and the more that you enjoy those nuances, perhaps the more you would like to protect those nuances by not adding heat and constantly heating the coffee throughout its life sitting in the carafe. So that's just something to consider. Now, in this case, with the Zojirushi, now we're talking over twice the price to get into a thermal carafe. So maybe that's not an option. Maybe that's not the right path, and that's all right. Everybody wants to, stay within a budget, and I think that's important, right? Like you have to be part of the initiated to be crazy enough to buy some of the equipment that everybody here buys. So I understand. DJ Impulse is with us. What's going on, man? How are you? Good to see you. The OXO 8-cup brewer is very good, says the Power Plant. Oh, I have not, I did not even think about OXO 8-cup brewer. We should let's put that in here. OXO 8-cup brewer. Let's see what it says here. Here it is, 8-cup coffee maker. But again, we're at $219. So that's a little bit on the pricier side than, if we're trying to stay on $100 range, somewhere around there. I mean, a lot of the options we're going to talk about are not necessarily close to that price, but this is definitely a possibility. Like I don't know, I've never used it, but here's a great thing that they're saying. One of the things that is important, or at least important to geeky guys like me when it comes to coffee, See here, it says gold standard coffee making from a single cup to a full carafe. Now, the Specialty Coffee Association of America, way back in the day, before it was taken over by the Specialty Coffee Association and the merger with the Specialty Coffee Association of Europe and the hegemony that is created today, they created something called the gold standard. The gold standard is basically so much coffee to water ratio and a certain temperature of brewing. All these standards for brewing, right? They set them time, temperature, quantity versus, to each one, ratio and all that. And there's a range for it, right? As with anything with a industry standard, there's a range, right? Like, for example, let's say with espresso making, the time range that the SCAA had established years ago was 20 to 30 seconds. So a 10-second gap or window. But, you can be anywhere within that and it should be good. If you're kind of crazy and you have no other life but coffee, you might be so inclined to determine that your coffee at your shop and your company and the coffee that you're making is not 10, 20 to 30 is acceptable, but 25 to 29 is the acceptable range, right? So it's open to your interpretation, but the Gold Cup standard says that there are certain parameters that should be met in order to get quality coffee. And let's say this, and there was a certification program years ago. I don't know if that's still in existence. If they're getting a special coffee, here it is. Yeah, so the coffee is certified by the SCA. So evidently OXO has paid what knows ungodly amounts of money so that their rainmaker brewer or showerhead would have this certification. I'm surprised there's no logo of certification somewhere on it. They have the For the Planet 1%, but they don't have anyway. The point is that if it's Gold Cup standard, and the most important aspect of this with home brewers is, can it get the water hot enough? Can it get the water up to 200 degrees? Somewhere between 195 to 198 is ideal. If you can get up there, perfect, right? And most important, not only can it, and here's the caveat, right? If you watch Technology Solutions video, you'll see that even on the Mr. Coffee, it's got this thermal block that's bringing the water to a boil. So boiling in America or in most part of the, it's only in America, right? 212 degrees. The rest of the world is 100 Celsius. Anyway, the way once it boils the water so that it can push it up through the stem, and so all of it is actually getting hot water. The question is it able to deliver that to that window frame of temperature to the coffee bed? That's really where the difference is going to lie, or hope that's where the difference is supposed to lie. Right? Power Plant says American pronunciation. Yeah, you know what? We're very funny people here. Very funny. Russell says I have a semi-retired BonaVita. It has a thermal carafe. Oh, yeah, the old ones are great. Actually, I was going to bring in my BonaVita and use that as a demo device today. But then I realized this morning, because I wasn't sure we're going to do today's live stream or not, right? Because it was kind of like, do we need to go get that or something or whatever? But then when I was setting up here about an hour, I started probably about 40 minutes ago. I was like, oh man, where's the BonaVita? The BonaVita is at the shop. I was like, so no BonaVita today. I was going to show the BonaVita. What else there to say? DJ says, I've heard the good things about the OXO. I mean, if we're talking about how, OXO makes great products, right? I use a lot of their stuff in the kitchens and here, both at home and professionally. And then the Rapid Brewer has been good brewer. I don't know if I'm crazy about the brewer, but it's good. And Impulse says, I've seen refurbished BonaVita brewers for close to $100. Oh, nice. Half a day to you, Andrew. Good to see you. Power Plant says, temperature needs to be high enough at the point of egress. You mean when it comes out of, it has to be, well, you can't get it. You mean comes out of the spout or out of the bed? I don't know if there's a way to do that out of the bed. DJ Impulse says, I still use my BonaVita with a Hario carafe and a Kalita Wave. Oh, nice. I mean, and what he's talking about, if we look at, let's look at the BonaVita, so we can see what he's talking about, maybe with a little more visual appeal. So here's a BonaVita Thermal Precision. This is kind of, they're all relatively the same. Mine looks a lot more clunky, a little bit more sculpted, a little bit more like, yeah, it looks more, not clunky, but sculpted. Like, the chain is more chiseled. So in this case, as you can see here, there is this basket and this carafe, and these two come out. If you're familiar with the Techniform, the Mocha Master, very similar kind of concept, right? And this is essentially a pour over cone. So you could very readily, like Impulse is saying, that you can use a Hario carafe and use your Kalita Wave, and you're just using this as your water delivery device. Because the BonaVita was also, well, actually, I think BonaVita was one of the very first that was certified by the SCAA to deliver the water, right? Because Laura Connors, who's a friend of mine, she was the force behind BonaVita originally, right? The BonaVita, but she sold it off and then started Olsen Simply Good Coffee, and then sold. I think she sold that off now. I mean, Laura's been around for a long time, but she was in the business. She was already well established in the business by the time I got in. So I was like, oh, wow, amazing women. And she's created some really great coffee brewers for the home use. And these are, I would say, BonaVita and the Olsen are something to consider if you're thinking about brewers for the home. And the Olsen is, where is it? Olsen. There it is. Olsen Simply Good Coffee. Here we are. America's best coffee makers, drip coffee makers. So these are nice, right? They even have a thermal. They even have a thermal version of it. And I have one here, and I have some videos about it, but I'm gonna show you this one because this is the one that I have that's ready. It's still, I always package everything because I need to store it all. But this is. Oh, it's a little dirty. Maybe I didn't clean it as well as I should have before I packed it away. All right, that's all right. Not a big deal. Okay, so this is the Olsen Simply Good coffee. Now, I'm not showing you this because I think it's better than the others necessarily. I think that it's just something that I have to use as a demo, and it's something we can brew coffee with so that we can have something to discuss with us. And as you can see, this was sitting. Where was this sitting? This must have been sitting on display somewhere, because look at this. It's very dusty, very dusty. I packed it away dusty. But as I was saying, so you can see this, and the BonaVita and this one are very similar in that they have the carafe and there's a brew kettle thing. Now, in this particular case, the brew basket does not sit on top of, it's not physically sitting on top of the kettle as it is with the BonaVita. This, even I said this to Laura when I first saw it. I was like, there is no denying that this thing looks like the Techniform Mocha Master. Like, this is like directly copying the design language of the Mocha Master. And you know what? If it can deliver the Mocha Master performance for $100 or what's the price here? Let's see the price here. The price of the BonaVita. Let's look at the BonaVita glass. That's not working. Come on, baby. $159. Well, right now it's on sale. So normally $200. $159. It's $160. If it performs as good as the Techniform Mocha Master, it's like $300. Then wow, that's a pretty good deal. And to be honest with you, I use this one. Okay, so this was gifted to me by Laura, and part of the reason they gave me one is because I was also a dealer for a while. I haven't really sold a lot of them lately, but we're technically a dealer of this particular brewer, so that should be something to note. But the brewer itself is actually surprisingly good. Like, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Now, to be honest with you, my bar for brewing is actually very low. Like, I'm just kind of like, as long as it brews coffee for me, I'm pretty happy, because like I've said in the past, for me, out of the battle is going to be the coffee that you buy. Like, if I'm buying or sourcing beautiful quality coffee, I'm not too worried about how I'm brewing it so much, right? It's going to be good. And unless I'm in a critical situation, like, for example, if I'm making coffee for you at the shops in the Bass, right? That's a critical situation, and they were very meticulous about it. But for me at home, I almost don't care. I'm like, whatever. I'm just here to, I'm just making coffee so I can have pastry. It's a good excuse. So we've got What's there to know about this? And they're super simple. All of these are very simple. There's usually an on switch, and you turn it on, and it does its thing. You don't really have to do anything. And I think that's because if you watch the Technology Connections video again, there's this water reservoir, right? So generally, this is my understanding how it works. There's a water reservoir, and the water falls into something down here that heats up there's a thermal block that heats it up, and what it does, it boils it. It boils just a minute amount of water and shoots it out of here, comes up this big stem, and in this particular case, the stem is connected to this shower head that you connect here. And so it shoots it up, and then it shoots over and then drops down into the basket. So that's generally how it works. Now, what advantage this offers, this has a little switch here for blooming. So if you buy fresh coffee and you need time for bloom, you hit this button, you turn this button on, and it will dispense X amount of water onto the bed. It will stop, wait like 30 seconds for the bloom to happen, and then start again. Now, where this particular brewer, and maybe they've changed it with the more updated versions, I can't really tell, but to me, one of my things that I think could be better, and this is also true, so let's look here at the top. This is essentially the Technivorm Mocha Master. I mean, in so many respects, it's very, very, the design language is very much of that. But here it is. So you got this basket, right? Let's take the basket off. And you've got the shower head. Now the shower head is like this, which you might be able to infer that there is a little bit of an issue, right? Like you're really only getting, the spread isn't like this very good. It just kind of stays kind of in the center. And this is actually true of the Mocha Master. The Mocha Master is terrible at this, right? So, you know, if you're really crazy, like if you're crazy about coffee, you could just sit there and you're doing it and do this kind of action, right? Like do this kind of thing, you know. Crazy people do this. Crazy people do that because now you've like loosened the connection here. So there could be water coming through the seals and shooting onto your hands. That's scalding, right? So, but that's up to you. But there's some nice features here. It has there's a little like, you can like close it. Right? That's kind of nice. So if you want, you could start off by like starting off your brew. This is dangerous, right? Like if you don't pay attention, you've got danger coming to you. But you could start off with the valve closed, you know, and let the water build up inside the basket, and then open it up, you know, if you want to play around with your brew patterns and all this, and then you just kind of open it up, and then it comes through. The problem is if you forget, if you're like me, you'll forget, and then you'll look, there you are making your pastry stuff, and you're getting your stuff together. Like I'm gonna prepare my muffin and warm it in the oven, and you look back, and suddenly coffee is cascading down and onto your countertop, and you just created a mess. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. I don't recommend doing that unless you're there watching it. But this particular brew does brew fairly fast. We're going to actually try. Oh, did I bring my extension cable? Oh, this is something. You see, these are the things that I forget. I used to have an extension cable here because the problem with these brewers, they're really designed to be on your countertop right next to an outlet. So the cable itself is very, very short. Like for our applications here on the show, it's actually extremely short. But we will try to see if it'll fit. We're not that far away. Okay, let's see. Impulse says, I still use my, okay, we talked about that. It's a bit of an automated Frankenstein. I love that. I love that about it. You can just totally use it that way. I think it just makes it so much, I agree, it makes it so much easier. Peter says, that's what's going on, Peter. I just like the coffee smell coming from a brewer. I enjoy that. I agree. We could just probably just make a coffee all day long and just let it permeate the house and just. Ken says, I sometimes use my Mocha Master with a Hario V60O. Oh, nice. I mean, essentially, what was it? Chemex came out with a chem brewer, whatever. I don't know what I can't remember what they called it. It's basically that, right? Like you just shove it. They basically took one of these and shoved their Chemex under it. They made it look really nice. Don't get me wrong, but it really gets close to the shower head, so you don't lose a ton of heat before it hits the coffee bed. Oh, that's good. That's good. Peter says, I need a ground coffee, not just for drinking, but as an air fragrance. Mike, who was it? Somebody just sent me a video just the other day. Maybe it's Rusty. I think it was Rusty. He sent me a video where they were using coffee as mosquito punks. So they basically took ground coffee like Folgers. I think literally they took Folgers. They made a little cup out of aluminum foil. So they just crushed it up and they put the coffee inside and then they torched the coffee, ignited the coffee, and evidently it will burn. It will just burn and you just set it to the side and mosquitoes don't like it. I haven't tried it. Power Plant says, I'm sure that makes great coffee, but it is. Wait, are you saying this is ugly? This is ugly? You don't like the Mocha Master? I think it's that like European style you don't like. They're too expensive, but the ratio machines are pretty. Ratio machines. I'm not familiar. Ratio coffee brewer. Let's see what that looks like. So the ratio 8. Okay, that's kind of sexy. In the glass or the thermal, but look at the price, $1,000. Holy moly. $7.99 for this one. Woo! They're pretty. They are pretty. I like the wood, man. The wood is definitely like, do I like this one finish or even this darker finish with black? Ooh. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to buy that for my home. Not because it's sexy. That's like sex. That's probably, okay, I would agree with you. That's probably one of the sexiest machines. That's like sex on wheels when it comes to home coffee brewers. Peter says, I don't like kitchen clutter, especially plastic ones. I'm downsizing to just my mocha pot and Hario switch. Oh, I hear you. Anton says, $100 less. It's only a mocha apprentice. It's definitely it's the mocha Padawan. The mocha Padawan. That's what it is. Peter's leaving us. Good night, Peter. Have a good sweet dreams to you. Cirilo, there's Cirilo. I ordered the Zojirushi. Oh, excellent. You did get the Zojirushi. I think that will be a perfectly fine example. Paige says, I have a Mocha Master, one of the best. Oh, yeah. The Mocha Master is definitely. And the Mocha Master, let me show you. Actually, on the top of the Mocha Master, I do have one here. They actually don't have, I didn't realize they don't have any, they don't have actual illustration. They just have an outline. They're just, these Danish, man, they're just trying to like, no, Dutch. They're Dutch, not Danish. But this one, so here's something, right? So I think the Mocha Master is way expensive, and they're actually kind of difficult to deal with. You're trying to get some, but way expensive. Like it's what, $350 or something? I'm like, oh my God, man, I'm not going to buy that. Or no, I've always wanted to buy it because, people were always like, everyone in the industry was, especially as I was coming up in the industry, they're like, this, if you want a batch brewer for home, this is the best one. I'd like to get one. But it's like $300, $350, something like that. I'm cheap. So I'm always looking for deals. Anything that I buy, I'm trying to look for deals, right? So one day I was at Williams-Sonoma. Williams-Sonoma is, if you're not familiar, in the United States, Williams-Sonoma is kind of like a gourmet cook shop. And everything they sell is kind of pricey, but nice quality, just pricey. And one day, but they have a clearance section. I always go to the clearance section. And here's the thing. I also have their Pro Chef membership because I qualify as a Pro Chef for them. And then I see, for most things, you get 20% off. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's great. So I could buy almost anything at Williams-Sonoma for a discount. But anyway, I was there. So normally this is, here's the price. Here's the price tag. Normally the price is $329.90, $330. And I was like, oh, so that's a lot. I'm not buying that. But I found this in the clearance section discounted to $260, $259.98. I asked the staff, and I was like, the pro chef works with this, right? She's like, yes. I was like, oh my gosh, 20% off of that? I'll buy it. So it turned out to be like $215 or something like that, right around $200. So I was like, okay, that's a hell. I've never found as good a deal on a Mocha Master. I could probably get a better deal if I was a dealer, like we stock them in the shops, but then I would have to buy like a case or more, or a pallet or something like that, and it's like that just seems to be ridiculous. So this is the Mocha Master, very, very similar to this one. And yeah, so let's make this coffee. Let's make coffee in this just to see what it's like. Now, Paige says, I love the look of my Mocha Master. It's dark. Ooh, that is a nice color. Anton says, why spend $1,000 if hand brew is 1,000 times better? Well, but here's the thing. Not everybody, as you know already, and I'm sure I'm not telling you anything new. I'm going to get a filter. Not everyone is willing to go to the level of commitment that you guys are all willing to go to, right? That's something I think, and while we like to talk about great quality coffee and quality brewing methods, not everyone's going to be as invested. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I think that is a very okay thing, because everybody starts somewhere, and so maybe the people that are using these will never get to the point that they want to make their own, like everyone here. That's okay too. It's just the journey that they're on. But some will. Some will be like, you know what? I've been playing around with this. I've been using my Mocha Master or this one, the Mocha Padawan, and I'm not quite happy with it. I think there could be more. That's when they move into the next level, and that's one of the things like at Spro when we would have very nice quality coffees, all this different styles of stuff, right? You come in and you get 7 different brew methods if you want, and we've got a minimum of 5 or 6 coffees for you to choose from at any point in time. I mean 5 or 6 single origins. So, but if you were to walk into Spro and you were like, "Can I get a coffee?" Okay, no problem. And we would brew you a coffee without you saying anything else. Like, we have a menu of stuff, right? We got a menu that you could be detailed and be all like, oh, I want this geeky kind of stuff. But if you walked up to us and you were like, I'd like a coffee, please. We got you. And what we would do is we would brew just the basic house blend coffee for you in a standard way, which was a pour over. And we only had one size. I was going to say in a 12 ounce, there's only one size. So there is no choice in sizes. But you would come in and the idea was that it was intimidating enough to walk in and see all the setup. So we wanted to try to make it as simple and easy as possible beyond that. And my belief is that, and we don't go into a spiel. Like, we're not telling you like, oh, this is this about the coffee and blah, 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 blah. It was, harvested here and there's meter setting and we dried it for so many days and who cares about that? Like, the guy wants coffee. The person wants coffee. This woman just comes in, she wants a coffee. She doesn't want to think too much about it yet. So eventually, but my belief is that they come in, they try it, hopefully they're enjoying it, hopefully they have a great experience, and over time, as they come in multiple occasions, they will reach a point where they're curious. Because if you think about it, right, you go to a place and you've never been there, you don't know anything about them, you're kind of suspicious. You're always suspicious about new things because you don't know anything about them. So you're just kind of like, who are these cats? Oh, here we go. More Misty Valley. Excellent. And over time, you build trust and rapport with someone. And I think that's where really the magic lies. Okay, so we're going to tear this out. We're going to make, I haven't even thought about how much. Okay, this will hold, I don't know how much this is going to hold. Oh, here we go. Look at this. So I don't know if you can see this, but you probably can't see this. But evidently right here, it actually gives you, here, look at this. 8 cups. So the nice thing about this, I've actually brewed this using down to 12 ounces of coffee. Maybe we'll do that because that'll be simpler. So it actually gives you little ratios here on the scale. So 4 cups, it says 28 to 36 grams. Maximum at 8 cups at 56 to 72 grams. Wow, that's pretty cool. We're just going to brew 1 cup. And we're going to do that. And let's go here. Whoops, tear that out. What are we doing now? Tear that out. Let's go to, whoops, not that one. Change that to grams. Okay, grams. We're going to do a 12-ounce cup because that's what we should be doing. And this is what I like about this particular brewer. And I think a lot of these brewers now will do this. So 24 grams we're going to use. 2 grams for every finished ounce. 24.5 will be fine. We're going to do a medium grind on our BonaVita. Not BonaVita. What is this? This is the Ode, the fellow Ode Gen 2. Is that right? Yeah. Put that in here. Oh, we're going to change the setting to this medium. I'm going straight to the center. 6. Is it right? I don't know. We're going to have to start all over again. I have thrown coffee now all over. Wow, I couldn't have planned better. All right, here we go. One more time. Back to life, back to reality. All right, 24 grams again. 22, 24.2. That's fine. That's good enough. I've heard a lot of different reasons why this grinder does what it does, and I don't like any of the reasons. Like I just don't think that that's necessarily an acceptable thing for a $600 grinder with all this chattering going on with the burrs. I hear what you say about how it's like, that there are extra coffees that are stuck inside the burrs or something like that in the auger, but I just don't think that's. I don't recall that happening in the past, right? So I don't know. All right, let's look here. So we got our filter in the basket. We're going to put our coffee in. To me, it looks a little bit on the coarse side, but we'll find out. And that's the beauty. You can just adjust as you go along. So we'll shake. There's a little cap that's quite filthy. Oh, that's shockingly dirty. Better. Put this in here like such. Okay. There's actually little tabs that are like little rails. So they go a certain way. So it suspends it above the brewer. Great. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to put water in here. And there's little graduations here. There's 2. Look at this, 2. I'm going to put water to the 2. Got some fresh water here. Oops, a little bit more than I wanted. And that should give us about the 12 ounces we're going to need to brew this coffee. And we're going to, there's 2 switches. 2 switches here. There's a power indicator, power switch that's a rocker, like it rocks it. And then there's this, we're going to use the bloom. But in order for me to reach the wall, I have to turn it around, and you will not be able to see the beauty of the switching. You might not be able to see the machine at all at the rate we're going. Still can't reach. Just. Okay, there it is. You can see it. So I'm going to turn the switch on. Oh, let's do some timing, and we're going to see how much time it takes for us to brew some coffee. Oh, I think I can do picture-in-picture, right? There's a picture-in-picture way of doing this. Okay, that's not the picture-in-picture I want. How about people here? Okay, that's no good. Oh, here. I wonder if I have to hit something. APV? Nope. Oh, gosh. Technology has never been a great thing. Okay, so let's turn this. I'm going to turn it on. I'm just going to start the timer. Okay, so we've started, and the time is running. So what's happening now is that I'm sure the water is in the reservoir, in the little thermal block, and it's heating. So it's going to take a few moments to heat. We're 20 seconds now. There's some shaking going on in the water reservoir. I don't know what that means. I guess it's heating. It's definitely doing something. Something is happening. Well, here it comes. The water's starting to come up the tube. Oh yeah, now it's boiling. Oh, that water looks kind of nasty. That water looks dirty. Oh, that does not look good. Well, at least the nice thing is that the coffee will filter that dirt out. At some point, it'll be clean. Be fine. It'll be fine. Nice thing is that if I do get ill, I'm on the way to the hospital anyway. So, okay, let's see. I'm sorry I'm behind a little bit. Better to spend $1,000 on a guitar. You know what? Speaking of guitars, do you ever watch that guy? There's that guy, the metal guy, that's all about recording. He on Spectre Sound Studio, Maryland, right there, about an hour and a half from where I am at the moment, down in Stevensonville, Maryland. Amazing guitars. Well, Spectre comes out with a video like, he's like, I took this $10,000